And welcome back to our read-through of Narcissu. The last time we were together, the great pachinko heist. That did not go as well as maybe we thought that it might. So, money looks like it's still going to be a problem. Maybe. Also, at the end of the episode, we made a really big dumb mistake when trying to save, and we tried to save on a menu that you probably shouldn't save on, because if you right-click out of it, you just kind of right-click out of the game. But there's a good solution for this. I don't know that it's an intended solution, but I do know that it works, so we can just kind of reload where we started the last episode. And I can just hold control and boom, we're right back to where we were. That didn't take long at all. That didn't take it long at all. So, gonna hop right back in to our next chapter, the Emerald Sea. My time at a standstill, my heart at a standstill. Days of useless trivia upon useless trivia. Days spent gazing at a map, closing my eyes, traveling through unfamiliar roads. One day, the usual monthly magazines, a photograph on a cover drew my eyes. A female model in a showy swimsuit, provocative poses on a sandy beach, a smile captured right before the Emerald Sea that I had always dreamed about. She was probably my age, smiling at me happily, cheerfully, with her outstanding figure. It wasn't as if I was jealous of anything. I didn't own any swimsuits to begin with, and I didn't come close to having any need for them. My pajamas were quite enough for me. I'd spent so many seasons, so many white, overcast skies without the want or need to converse with anybody. I remembered that day, June of the first year of middle school, the day of my first hospitalization. I remembered having ordered a swimsuit. I remembered having done so several years ago now. That day, I remembered the swimsuit that had lost its opportunity to be used, just like protagonist Kuhn's driver's license. Also, I'm going to apologize if my throat is a little froggy today. It is super duper allergy season now, and I have been fighting with it all morning. But I wanted to get back to this. I'm on lunch break and I had time, so I wanted to get back to this. So don't worry, we should only have to suffer through it for a half an hour. It's fun. And we also got water. Life-saving, giving water. I'll try not to clear my throat all that much, or at least I'll try and smack that mute button. That day, I remembered that swimsuit that had lost its opportunity to be used. I took that school swimsuit, new as the day I bought it, out of the drawer where it had patiently waited for years. I took off my usual pajamas and timidly put on the navy blue swimsuit. I was shocked. It had already been years, and yet it fit me as if it had been made for me that very day. And that swimsuit model was smiling at me warmly, smiling at me from the midst of the Emerald Sea, smiling at me warmly and happily with that beautiful womanly figure. It was saddening. It wasn't as if I was jealous. No, the truth was I was probably yearning for it. Yearning for it impossibly, stubbornly, because I knew that it was absolutely impossible. But the huge scars on my chest were telling me to just give up. My lifelong companions, my scars, were telling me to go back to my world of closed eyes. January 22nd, 2005. Around the time when the sun slowly arced down and dyed the western horizon orange, we were on the road as usual. What should we do now? We really had no more money left to spare. Hey, as I thought upon these things, she caught me by surprise by calling out to me. Are you allowed to soak in baths? Yeah, they said I could go ahead unless it was for a long, protracted bath. I see. I'm about the same way. What she meant by allowed, and what I meant by they, was that the doctors didn't caution us against it. There had been many who had been forbidden to do so due to kidney or digestive tract issues. And now that I thought about it, her problem was probably her circulatory system, just like me. Well, do you want to take a bath? Is that bad? No, I kind of wanted to as well. Even so, we didn't have enough money to stay at a hotel or an inn. Then, do you want to stop by a public bathhouse? Bathhouse? Yeah, we've got the money for that at least. No, it's fine. What do you mean, fine? It had already been 3 days since we'd escaped from the 7th floor. That is so long for 2 people to have stolen a car and not gotten caught. Like, part of me is just like, is the dad just not saying anything because he knows? Now, I figure maybe her parents would be a little more shocked at this turn of events, but maybe not. Again, it sounds like the family doesn't care much, but I kind of feel like the dad would probably care a bit about his car being gone. But again, he might be going through that thing of just like, man, if this is what he wants to do for a while, just run until you get caught, little dude. Not that he's so little. I mean, he's 20. You get my point. We were allowed to bathe twice a week there and had sponge baths twice a day as well. Then again, we weren't getting very sweaty given the season, and since we were in a car, we weren't getting dirty. Could it be that it's embarrassing for you to be in a public bathhouse? I mean, you know, if she's got scars on her chest, like, I'm assuming she's definitely had some kind of like open heart surgeries at this point, and having seen my dad, who had a quadruple bypass in like 1996, like that's a pretty big scar. And you like, and if it's a bypass, then you know she's probably got like a scar down her leg too, I imagine, from where they pulled the replacement veins from. Not really, nothing like that at all. Around the time when the sun had completely disappeared and the moon waxed large in the night sky, some distance away, I'd found something that looked like a school. That would have to do. I stopped the car before the gates. And then I rummaged in the back seat through the clump of clothing there. If I remembered correctly, there were 2 to 3 towels in this heap. And then, after sifting through a bunch of clothes, I found a hand towel after all. It had the legend Shiraishi Construction written on it. Probably one of those appreciation gifts they gave out like candy. Alright. Then wait for a bit. Huh? Taking 2 towels with me, I headed towards the school. I climbed over the closed gates and looked around anxiously for my target. Ah, there it is. I'd found a water faucet station, probably for gardening use. This can't feel good. Are you gonna like shower outside in the middle of January? That's not gonna feel great. I turned the knob and cold water poured out of the faucet. Water cold enough to freeze me stiff. I wet the 2 towels and squeezed them out. Sorry for the wait. Here. I handed over the 2 towels to her. And then I took off my sweater and started washing myself. The cold, wet towel felt pretty good against the warm heating of the car. Hey, you go ahead and clean yourself too. It feels nice and cold too. Okay. She was a little reluctant at first, but then she slowly started undoing her buttons. The skirt and jeans were all too big for her. Unlike me, she simply washed herself by retracting her hands into the shirt. Say, what is it? Don't look. Oh, sorry, that's right. She murmured with the wet towel in her hand, her clothes half on, half off. It was the first time I'd seen her look like that. A little annoyed, a little embarrassed. I mean, she still has dignity as a woman, like, despite the fact that she's been through so much and obviously, you know, she has her dignity here. She doesn't, you know, doesn't want to give that up. Inside the car, our backs turned to each other. Hey, feels pretty good, huh? Yeah. Inside the car, shrouded in the dark of night. Drying myself off, reflected in the glass of the windows, which also reflected her back towards me, drying herself off as I was. She'd taken off her shirt just as I had. I didn't mean to look, but I could see. Big scars on her chest. Probably post-surgical. Didn't know what for, but they were much larger than mine. Hey. Huh? Oh, what is it? Is it that strange? Her back turned to me, speaking to me, reflected in the window. Kind of just let those moments hang. Yeah, you feel like they're going to go for like a conversation there, and they very tastefully let those moments kind of hang. And I think that like, that's a real smart move. Like that's kind of like, you just kind of like let that moment sit in your brain. I think that there's value in denying catharsis. And it's moments like that where I think that you're just kind of going with the vibe, and it works pretty effectively. The silver coupe in motion underneath cloudy skies. Driving around without a destination as per usual. It was already 3 days later, and nothing had really changed in that time. Along the way, we'd found a free public open-air bath, and since it seemed devoid of people, we were able to take a bath after all. Other than that, we were out of money, and we were running out of gas again. Are you getting tired? Not really. We exchanged these words while eating convenience store-bought rice balls. They might have been tastier than anything up on the 7th floor, but they were becoming pretty boring by now. But we didn't have enough money to have anything but this kind of meal. It's noisy. Huh? What's this all of a sudden? The car is sounding louder than before. Uh-oh. Oh no, is the car pooping out? This was probably because I cracked the muffler when I was escaping from the pachinko. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I hadn't really noticed it, but sure enough, the car was sounding louder. Not a real impediment to driving. But the bigger problem was the gas. I had already been driving for 5 minutes since the meter had bottomed out at empty, and I only had 900 yen left. Unlike last time, this was obviously not enough. And if the car stopped due to lack of gas, we'd be able to do nothing anymore. You know, like... just like robbing gas from a gas station is one of those things it's like you think about and you go that, but like not in Japan, because I believe that they always have attendants pump the gas for you, so it's a lot harder to just like drive off after you've got the fill up, you know, without paying. So I believe that's most gas stations in Japan are like that. Having decided, I looked for a gas station, and one that was self-service. Okay, they do, I mean, I figured they did have self-service, but I kind of figured that most of them had attendants. So we're gonna do it! We're gonna do the gas heist. Having found one, I stopped the car next to the nearest pump. I'm gonna get some gas. I see. But don't get out of the car. No answer, but she probably knew what I meant by that. I hope that this goes a lot better than the pachinko heist. I hope that our boy is at least a little bit better at lifting gas than he was trying to lift, you know, a cash box. I opened the cap to the gas tank and snaked in a gas hose. Only one other car in the station, and the little building with an attendant within. Probably there to get payment and give back change. According to the notice on the wall, you were supposed to take the receipt to him when done. We could probably make our getaway right now if we wanted, is what I felt as I looked around the quiet gas station. 23, 24, 25, 26, we're about halfway there. The numbers went by on the meter, too slowly it seemed, unlike last time. I kept wondering uneasily if it wouldn't fill up a little bit faster. And then, after the meter hit 40, right before the tank was full, welcome! For some reason, the attendant, who had been in the building up until now, came rushing towards us. Sir, are your tire pressure and ashtrays okay? Huh? Oh, yes, they are. I see. Well, it's cold out, so please be careful. He even started cleaning the windows as if trying to take good care of us. While he did so, the pump detected that the tank was full and with a businesslike sound, spit out a receipt. Shit. Shit! How do you get out of this one? Could not have asked for worse luck at the self-service station. He stopped wiping the windows for a second and pointed at the building. I held the receipt in my hand in silence and stood completely still, wondering what I should do. Something the matter, sir? No, it's nothing. For now, I got back into the car, and then I just turned the engine into the ignition. What do I do now? The attendant was washing the rear window by now. So if I floored the accelerator now, then he'd be able to read the license plate number right away. And we'd get arrested just like that. I don't know. I feel like you've stolen a car and not gotten arrested. Like, given the fact that there are 2 terminally ill patients now missing from a hospital along with a hijacked car, I feel like the police would definitely already be on your ass. So I don't think you're gonna have any trouble lifting gas. You know what? I take that back. Since everything is just based on capitalism, I'm pretty sure that the cops would definitely be a hell of a lot more up their ass about somebody running off with like $10 worth of gas than they would be 2 terminally ill patients missing from a hospital. My bad. I keep forgetting somehow. ACAB. But we had to escape now. Having decided, I floored that bitch! And then, just as I was about to shift from neutral into first gear, here you go. Huh? Go ahead and use it. She abruptly produced an envelope and took out a 10,000 yen note and gave it to me. What? You just had that? You have money on you? I never had thought, I'd never have thought she had any. But because of what because of that, we'd had so many hardships up until now. Why didn't you tell me? Did you? Don't pull this shit. Don't you dare. Don't do the you didn't ask bullshit to me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because you didn't ask. And with that, she turned back in silence to the window. A silver coupe in motion once more. The tank was full again, and we had 5,000 yen as change. But what had just happened was weighing heavily on my mind. Hey, you know... Here, this is all of it. Huh? Before I could go any further, she presented the envelope to me. Can I use this? Doesn't really matter. I looked in the envelope. There were 4 10,000 yen notes inside. We had 40,000 yen just hanging out? 50,000 yen? I mean, I understand maybe not wanting to cough it up immediately because, you know, obviously you could probably get into the mindset of, well, we've got, what is it, 70,000 yen? We could probably spend the night somewhere in a nice place. And, you know, you probably don't want to do that if you want to stay on the road as long as you can. Plus, I'm pretty damn sure she's saving this money to go on a vacation somewhere, and that this was like all she got to. This would be enough. But now there was something entirely different on my mind. Why did she have this much money on her? The couple thousand yen I'd brought with me were just whatever I had on hand at the time. But in her case, it was as if she'd prepared this all in advance. I mean, she's probably been getting like birthday presents, Christmas presents, and a lot of times those can be monetary, and she's probably been holding on to that shit for a long time because this is an escape she's been trying to make this whole time. Why do you think she knew where to go if you wanted to get out of this place? But in her case, it was as if she'd prepared this all in advance. Hey, you know, you said you didn't want to die on the 7th floor, right? And not at home either. Yeah, same here. Then where exactly did you want to go? Didn't you prepare this money for just that purpose? And then I remember what she'd told me earlier, that she was going to go somewhere while she still could. And she asked me, do you want to stop me or come with me? So in truth, is there somewhere you want to go? Not really. That's not much of an answer. There isn't anywhere. That was all she murmured, desolately, sadly. If that was the case, had she been preparing for a trip all by herself without having a destination in mind this entire time? It did make me wonder who would do such a lonely thing. But as I gazed at her lonely-looking profile, I found my answer. She would. Then how about you? Me? Not really. Don't imitate me. I'm not imitating you. We kept driving along without a destination. One had escaped from 7th floor without a second thought. The other had made futile preparations without a destination. But right now, anywhere is fine with me. But I want to go somewhere. What? At least for me, I wanted a path to follow. I was fine with anything, as long as it was a path. Hey, how about that Awaji Island you were talking about? We can go there with the money we have. Really, anywhere would have been fine, as long as it wasn't the 7th floor or home, as long as we could get there. But we couldn't just wander around aimlessly. I wanted to head towards a destination, no matter what that destination was. What about you? You want to try going there? Not really. With that, she turned back to the window in her usual silent fashion. Those same eyes, the same as ever, looking somewhere into the distance. Just what could she be looking at? Just what was she hoping for when she came with me? Oh, look at us, going on another chapter already. Hey, Polly, don't right-click. I loved looking at maps. The #1 route, continuing on forever, places unknown, and I loved cars because they could take me anywhere. But no matter how much useless trivia I gained, it was all in my imagination, relentlessly chipping away at reality and at my heart. I had a swimsuit, I had maps, but I had no future. There was a world outside my window, but it was nothing that I could touch. If I closed my eyes, I could go to a world without anything in it, but it wasn't as if the real world would disappear for me. I knew all this. My lifelong companion scars were telling me to get used to this world of closed eyes. And yet, I was still filled with what-ifs and dreamed of wild possibilities. But eventually, the yearning never progressed past yearning. The bikini swimsuit, the emerald sea, my huge scars told me that I should just give up on them already. But I spent most of my life in the hospital amidst the world of closed eyes. It was so sad to only be able to choose between the 7th floor and home. No other options given. However, it was sadder still that I couldn't think of any other places anyway. But I've lived on for 22 years like this. So let me do as I please. Just this once. When I murmured these words, I felt time, which should have been standing still, begin to move again. That day, my heart, which should have been standing still, was in torment. We're on Route 1. Let's go! The silver coupe, whose hood reflected the clear blue skies of winter. Wandering around as aimlessly as ever, but at least no more worries about gas or food. Soon enough, we came across a large intersection. I hadn't obtained her approval last night, but I was still heading west regardless. The only problems were that I didn't know the roads at all, and it would be tough on our budget to take the tollways. Those were my thoughts as we drew near the large intersection. I was about to continue heading straight without a single thought when... Left turn here. Huh? Turn left. An abrupt request. Even as I wondered what was up, I turned left as she had requested onto a very wide road. What was that about? This is the #1 route. Go straight for now. For now? I was surprised by her sudden direction giving. We'd been together up until now, and she seemed to know just about everything. But this was the first time that she'd voluntarily given me directions. Could it be that you've decided you want to go after all? Well, you know, to the place we talked about? To Awaji Island? Is that bad? No, that's not what I meant at all. We were driving along without any purpose. I was floundering in search of some destination, and always enigmatic, she was ever looking into the distance. So the words that had just come out of her mouth took me completely by surprise. It's not that I have any expectations. What? It's not like I want a swimsuit or any... Just, what do you think you're saying? Nothing at all. The silver coupe shimmered in the sunlight underneath the clear winter sky. We'd passed through the steep slopes and sharp curves of Hakone, and now we were in a much more relatively flat area. Hey, around where are we anyway? Aichi Prefecture. We'll be entering Nagoya City pretty soon. We were driving through the normal highways because we were on too limited a budget to use the tollways. I could never have done this alone, but thanks to her, we were making good progress. Her instructions, more accurate than any navigation system. I didn't know why I felt this way, but I could tell that we were on the right track. The next intersection, turn onto the #22 route. Got it. I turned the steering wheel and changed lanes as I'd been told to do. The scenery streaming past the window, the sights and sounds of a city that I had never seen before, spreading out to the north. And around the time when the wide open spaces around us had transitioned into urban neighborhoods. Hey, you want to stop by there? Some family restaurant at the roadside of the highway. I pointed to it as I drove and kept talking. After all we've had is convenience store food all the way up until now, right? Of course, it wasn't as if we'd been subsisting on convenience store food because we liked it. There was the fact that we had no money, and there was also the fact that we were on edge. But now we had a little money to spare. That's why I'd suggested it. After all, I mean, a family restaurant can be a nice change of pace. Convenience store food is fine for me. She looked down a little as she said this, as if she was staring at her clothes or something. Oh, fair enough. Speaking of which, those clothes were way too big on her. All right, then next up, how about stopping by that place? What do you mean by that? Look over to your side, the jeans shop over there. And there stood a jeans and casual wear wholesale chain store that I had seen in other locations of on the normal highways. That kind of store isn't likely to be that expensive either. We're stopping in, all right? I'm stopping now. No reply, but no resistance either. It might well have been that it would be better for me to think of her non-replies as answers to the affirmative, or something. Yeah, I've kind of been, you know, realizing that for a while now, Chief. We went into the store. She peered curiously around the 2 floors of the place, looking into every single corner there was. She was as without words as she always had been, and she may not have looked much different from her usual. But this was a little different than the way she was when we were watching the boring TV that reflected nothing. She examined item after item of clothing and seemed to be considering the prices. And then, whenever she tried on a new outfit, she'd come running up to me and, "What do you think?" "What do I think? I just think it looks pretty good on you." It isn't weird? No, I don't think so. And in this fashion, she tried on outfit after outfit, coming to show it off for me every single time. She did not once smile or let any facial expression out, but it seemed to me like she was somehow happy about this, This is like her getting to do something normal that she probably never got to do otherwise. She's just getting to be a girl. And, you know, a lot of the times when you're that kind of sick that she is, you just don't get to do that. All right, have you decided? Yeah, I'm going with these. Saying this, she showed me her final outfit. A pretty shirt and a short skirt. Aww. What she'd selected did make her look like a middle or a high school student, but she seemed to be pleased enough. Now, if memory served, she told me in the past she was older than me. But no matter how I looked, it just didn't seem true. Such the opposite, in fact, that I couldn't help but smile. But you know, maybe it would be better if that skirt were a bit longer. What? Oh, no. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying that it doesn't look good on you at all. It's cold, you know, and in the kind of outfit, I'll be fine. I'll bear with it. Dude, just let her be a girl, man. Just let her be a girl. When she spoke those words, I saw a little bit of pink rise to her pale face. For a girl who always kept herself absolutely emotionless, could it be she was blushing? The first expression of emotion that I'd ever seen from her. Back on the road again, the somewhat noisy silver coupe speeding along underneath the high heavens of winter. Get on number 21 route next. Got it. She was acting as the navigator as usual. In no time at all, we had entered the Gifu Prefecture. Man, I play a lot of games that take place in the Gifu Prefecture. I have been in that prefecture so many times playing games. But if this were as usual, she'd only be looking out the window at nothing. But now, she was checking herself in the side view mirror over and over, as if well pleased. Checking herself in the mirror as if she didn't want me to catch her doing it. What is it? Well, it looks like you're pretty happy with those clothes, that's all. Not really. It's not. Yeah, get out of here. Said to me, you can be a girl. You're allowed to be a girl. Enjoy it. You're cute. With that, she stopped looking in the side view mirror. But after a little while, she started checking herself again as I watched. So there were awfully cute things about her as well. And even if it was something as small as this, as normal could be, I found it very cute. All right. And we're gonna drop it for now. But man, that was a real good one. Oh, things are just, I feel weird saying things are going well, but you know, things are going well. We are well on our way. We've got a destination in mind. Setsumi's looking cute as a button. And that's the best you can hope for sometimes. Sometimes you gotta take the victories where you can get them. So that is going to do it for us for now. So thank you so much, as always, for stopping by. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, and we will catch you next time. Bye! Bye.